welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're doing something pretty ambitious, I think. We're trying to pull together these threads, connecting, accepting reality, building real character, and facing our own mortality.
Yeah, and we've got some heavy hitters in our sources. Stoics like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, some modern psychology insights, even cultural stuff like Dia de los Muertos.
Right. The mission here is to see if we can stitch these together into like a practical guide for self-mastery.
And what's fascinating is how they all seem to point back to the central question. What do you actually control? It's all about mapping that inner territory.
hmm And a good starting point, maybe a bit stark, is that African proverb: give advice freely. If people don't listen, let adversity teach them.
Oof. Yeah, that really sets the stage, doesn't it?
It does. It immediately flags the limits of our influence. Nature or adversity often gets the last word.
Absolutely. That proverb, it forces you to confront that reality is the ultimate instructor. You can guide, you can suggest, but you can't, force someone else's learning process.
Or the universe's timing.
Exactly. And recognizing that inability to force things is ironically where you start regaining control over your own reactions, your own disappointment.
Okay, so if we accept we can't strong-arm the world outside, what's the next step? What's the move inward, according to the Stoics?
Well, Epictetus hits us with something that sounds, honestly, super radical at first, maybe even defeatist.
Go on.
He says, essentially, don't wish for things to happen the way you want. Instead, wish for them to happen exactly as they do happen. Then, he claims, your life will flow well.
Okay, I got to push back there. That sounds incredibly passive, like just rolling over. If I just accept everything, don't I lose all drive? Isn't that just giving up?
Yeah, that's the common reaction, and it's understandable, but it's a misunderstanding of acceptance or acquiescence in this context.
How so?
It's not about passive resignation. It's a strategy. It's about avoiding unnecessary suffering. You're not giving up taking action.
Right.
You're giving up the futile expectation that reality must bend to your specific wishes. See the difference?
I think so. You shift the battleground.
Exactly. From fighting the external, often chaotic world to managing your internal judgment about that world. When you stop wrestling with what is, you free up so much mental and emotional energy.
So it's like graduating from just putting up with things, grudging acceptance, to something stronger, like Nietzsche's Amor Fati, the love of fate.
Precisely. That's the leap. Amor Fati isn't just tolerance. It's actively embracing, even feeling gratitude for whatever happens.
Gratitude, even for bad stuff, setbacks, loss.
That's the radical part, yes. Because the idea is that whatever happens, good or bad, contains the raw material for your growth. It's the grist for the mill. You're not just okay with the outcome, you're finding value in it.
Seneca had that line right, about a good person dying events.
Yeah, a good person dyes events with his own color and turns whatever happens to his own benefit. You are the die, as you say. You bring the color, the interpretation.
And Marcus Aurelius brought it down to like the simplest daily check. There was never any need to get worked up about things you can't control.
Such simple advice, yet think how often we violate it.
Constantly. We spend so much energy fuming about traffic or politics or things that are already done and dusted.
Yeah, fighting what already is. It's wasted emotional fuel.
Okay. So let's unpack this internal part more.
Yeah.
If we manage to accept the external, the next big challenge is our own internal weather system, right? Our emotions.
Definitely. Because our feelings often drive the bus, don't they? Even when our rational mind knows better.
Totally.
So this is where the idea of educating our emotions comes in. It's core to self-mastery. The sources often warn about, not letting your highs get too high or your lows too low.
Keeping an even keel.
Right. But it's not about becoming some unfeeling robot. It's about building emotional stability. So that external stuff, a market dip, a rude comment, even a lottery win doesn't completely hijack your state of being.
If those things control your mood, then they control you.
Exactly. Stability means you train yourself consciously to choose your response, regardless of the stimulus.
I get the theory.
Yeah.
But practically, Marcus says don't get worked up. But sometimes, the anger, the stress, it's already flared up physiologically before I even think. How do these thinkers address that immediate gut reaction?
That's a great question. And that's why Plato's insight is so key. The first and best victory is to conquer self. It emphasizes that this isn't a switch you flip.
It's not just willpower in the moment.
No. It has to be a practice, a cultivation, like tending a garden. Slow, steady. You build that stability, that ability to pause between stimulus and response through repetition, tiny improvements day after day.
That patience with yourself, weathering the internal storm that builds self-belief.
Yes, I think that's the bridge. That internal self-conquest, that demonstrated ability to manage yourself, that's what fuels genuine self-esteem, the kind Henry Ford talked about.
Be whether you think you can or think you can't. Either way, you are right. Quote.
Exactly. It's not wishful thinking. It's confidence born from a track record. Your own track record of showing up, of practicing, of making those tiny improvements, regardless of whether you get immediate applause or results.
You trust yourself because you've seen yourself do the work.
Right. That self-trust, that's arguably more crucial for long-term success than raw talent or luck.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting for me. Let's pivot this whole acceptance theme towards the biggest certainty of all.
Mm-hmm.
Death. Mortality.
Mm-hmm.
Our modern culture seems terrified of it. We hide it away. But these older traditions, they seem to say embracing it is key to living well.
Absolutely. There's a profound wisdom there. When you constantly avoid the thought of death, life can feel sort of unmoored, limitless maybe, but also consequence-free in a weird way.
Yeah, less precious.
Right. Contrast that with something like Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. It's this incredible, vibrant, 3-day cultural immersion in memento mori, remember, you will die.
But it's not morbid, is it? It's a celebration.
Exactly. It blends solemn remembrance with total vibrancy, music, food, dancing, amazing altars. Think New Orleans jazz funeral or an Irish wake. It acknowledges the gravity but refuses despair.
It embraces the whole cycle. I remember reading that story Montaigne told about an ancient drinking game.
Oh, yeah, the one with the skeleton.
That's it. They'd pass around a little model or painting of a corpse in a coffin while drinking.
And toast. Drink and be merry, for when you're dead, you will look like this.
Huh. It's so cheeky, but also deeply profound.
It is. And the point of rituals like that is to normalize death, to see it not as some freakish horror, but as a natural, inevitable part of life.
Like an annual checkup for your perspective.
Perfect analogy. Regularly acknowledging death doesn't make life pointless. It makes it intensely purposeful. It clarifies your priorities like nothing else.
Okay, so accepted external reality, check. Working on educating internal emotions, check. Face the big M, mortality.
Yeah.
What does all this accumulated acceptance mean for how we actually live, how we treat people, our legacy?
Well, it seems to naturally lead towards humility and service. If you truly accept your place, your limits, your mortality, grandiosity kind of falls away, doesn't it?
Makes sense.
Tolstoy talked about this paradox of service. He said the person focused on serving a higher purpose God for him, but may purpose or duty for us is always humble. Why? Because they always feel they haven't done enough. They see the gap between the ideal and their reality.
Whereas the person who thinks they're the master of their own universe.
Right. That person feels they owe nothing, they've achieved it all themselves. True humility is difficult from that standpoint.
There's that parable in Luke, too, about the unprofitable servants.
Mm-hmm. Even after they do everything they were commanded, they're told to say, "We are unprofitable servants. We have only done what was our duty."
That sounds harsh, maybe, but you said there's freedom in it.
Huge freedom. If you internalize that, doing the right thing, fulfilling your duty is just baseline. It's expected. Then you're completely liberated from needing pats on the back or praise or external validation for just being decent or doing your job.
You do it because it's the right thing to do. End of story.
Exactly. And the great Stoics lived this. Look at Marcus Aurelius. His Meditations, written purely for himself, starts with this long section, like 10% of the book, called Debts and Lessons.
Not my awesome achievements.
Right. He's meticulously listing what he learned from whom. Gratitude, humility. His grandfather taught him courtesy, his mother generosity. It's a record of his willingness to be taught.
That openness is the foundation for virtue, isn't it? Marcus had his big four virtues.
Courage, discipline, justice, wisdom. Yep.
But he also had those 6 other qualities, those epithets he wouldn't compromise on.
Yeah, things like upright, modest, straightforward, sane, cooperative, disinterested, really grounded qualities.
And the promise was,
Yeah.
if you hold on to those internally, without worrying if others notice or approve.
You become a new person, living a new life. Your character is the legacy. And tying back to service, there's that beautiful Chinese wisdom.
What about kind people?
Yeah, that truly kind people forget the good deeds they've done almost immediately. Why? Because they're already absorbed in the present moment, looking for the next opportunity to be helpful. That's truly disinterested service, no scorekeeping.
Wow. Okay, that really brings it all together.
Mm.
It lands us back at this central paradox we've been circling.
Which is?
That deep acceptance. Amor, Fati, memento mori. It's not weakness. It's not resignation. It's actually the source of incredible strength and freedom.
Right. By acknowledging what you can't control, the vastness of the universe, other people, fate, death, you gain this focused, unshakable control over the one thing you can, your own character, your choices, your responses.
That internal citadel.
And fulfillment, real deep satisfaction. It doesn't just come from ticking off achievements. Simon Sinek nails this.
Oh, yeah.
He says excitement comes from achievement, sure, but fulfillment, that comes from the journey, the struggle, the values you upheld along the way.
And Terence McKenna offered that beautiful, simple instruction for navigating this reality we're learning to accept.
Our role isn't necessarily to understand everything, it's to appreciate it.
Appreciation over comprehension sometimes. I
Yeah.
like that. So think about Marcus Aurelius again, his legacy. Who really cares about the specific troop movements or political squabbles of his time?
Almost no one, historically speaking.
But his private notebook, his quiet thoughts, his struggles, the ideals he aimed for in the, quote, midnight dimness, that's what resonates across centuries.
Absolutely. It's the record of his inner life, his striving.
So here's the thought we want to leave you with today. If your life, right now, were distilled down to just a notebook of your quiet thoughts, your private values, your responses under pressure, what would it reveal?
Would it show a rare spirit wrestling with these timeless questions? What virtues are you actively documenting day by day through your practice, through your commitment, even when no one's watching? That's something to really reflect on this week.